And we are live in studio.
All right.
Patriotarchy podcast coming at you live.
The patriarchy.
Patriotarchy.
I'd like to hello everybody. I'm Tom Birmingham, and I'm here today with my friend JP. All right. And we're going over some shenanigans that we were up to this week, and we're going to be reviewing today discussions on Dugin, National Bolshevism, and what else?
Well, the Bolshevik Revolution, but yeah, that'll lead to the Dugin, the Duginator, and
The Duginator.
He could be like a cartoon in and of himself, but more on the villainous.
Dude, it's so awesome, dude. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you, I have hero worship for that guy.
Right? Hero worship?
I have a little hero worship for him. Come on. Okay, so Dugin starts. I stop me if I've said it.
Go
before.
right into it. No, go into it.
I don't know. How did Dugin start off his career?
Woo! How?
How did Dugin become an international man of mystery and a spy? And he
didn't work for the KGB, did he?
Okay. Well, I like the stories. These guys, some people with great stories, like talking about them. Like Putin's legendary story is how when he was 13 years old, he went in, I want to be a KGB agent. They said, come back when you're 16. He came back when he was like 16. All right. It's like, I want to be a piece of shit narc that fucks over my fucking fellow countrymen and listens in on their conversations, validates the system of starvation and awfulness. So come back when you're older. He comes back. I am even more evil now than when you first.
You need to validate the system of awfulness, though. You just gotta keep doing it.
I went and I strangled a couple of rats to see if I could do it and how I felt about it, and I liked it. It's like
nothing weird about that at all.
Nothing weird about that guy at all.
No, and he's kissing kids in parades, and people are like, "Oh yeah, he hates the West." What?
I don't blame him. I don't blame him for hating the West. All right.
No, I mean, I don't either. Neither. No, we're talking about Putin. Dugin.
Yeah.
Dugin just, I don't know.
Oh no, Dugin, I don't blame either. Listen, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, you're a little too young to understand this. I was about 12 or 13 at the time. You're a little too young to understand what was going on.
Damn whippersnapper.
We had just finished praying that the world not end in fiery atomic apocalypse as the Russian government destabilized and collapsed because did I mention in the last podcast that my family caused the collapse of the Soviet Union?
You did not.
I'm not kidding when I say it. I mean this. This is not bullshit. Okay, there's a couple of different stories about why the Soviet Union collapsed. One, and they're all valid. One was the economic war that the West conducted on the Soviet Union. Mm-hmm. All right. We could manipulate, we're going to go and manipulate the price of sheep. And then the communists would kill off all of their sheep to get this huge windfall profit because they needed the cash. But
it's definitely one of the more valid ones for sure.
Yeah.
Just rating them economically. Like that's what the USA does. So that's what we do to everybody.
We would fuck them in ways that they didn't understand.
Yep.
Okay. They were financially illiterate, and they were competing against us, and we were doing things to them. We could outspend them, and we could do deficit expenditures, and he was like, we'll borrow against the future, and a whole bunch of other shit. Like let me turn that off. And then within their country,
I'm getting a Wi-Fi delay. Are you there? Really?
All right. Where was I? Oh, this is their country.
Well, okay, hold on just a minute. Oh, you're back, and we're back. Yeah. It was over, but now we're back.
Okay, I had to switch off of the Wi-Fi. Sorry, it must have been switching. I have like 2 different Wi-Fi setups in the house based off of where I'm at. I was looking around for this book. This is a great book that I'm currently reading. All right, I don't know if
Oh
that'll
no.
come through. It's called To Eliminate the Opiate. It's written by Rabbi
Karl
Marvin
Marx?
Adelman. Okay,
Oh,
and
it's a
so
rabbi?
yeah, he's a rabbi, and he's fighting against the Sabbatean movement, which is the Illuminatus movement, which is connected to the foundations of Russian Bolshevism. Okay, they financing communist movements, certain heretical movements within the Jewish community that had excommunicated each other, and the conflicts within. This is something that's kept relatively within their community and not really spoken about. The rabbi's books are quite good. People are very litigious. It sued the ever living shit out of him. I lack his command of language, but he was able to go and express very vividly his terrible experiences in the courts of the United States, fighting to tell the truth, as he was sued by 60 something people. All right. Not one of them won.
And we're back.
Oh, what? None of that was recorded?
Seems to be a bit of a lag. Okay, we're back. You were oh no, it's lagging. You are lagging. It's lagging hard. Oh no. Intermission. 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 I'm gonna see if he's gonna drop off and then come back. Cause hold on just a moment, folks. Let's see. And remove. And add. Nothing like a little halftime. Okay, so he's gonna come back. He's definitely gonna come back. Oh, and we re-signed on. And we're back.
My apologies, gentlemen. When did I cut out?
And you were talking about how he was going to come to the U.S. court system to challenge
the
litigiousness of the
situation. Yeah. There's a bunch of fucking frivolous lawsuits against him, people attacking his character. So his book's still out. He hasn't been forced to retract it. There have been similar instances, like there was a man who would a former CIA agent that exposed a bunch of things from the U.S. government, and he encouraged people to steal his book because any sale of his book went to the CIA because they'd sued him for the truth.
What was his name?
Oh, geez, I can't recall off the top of my head.
That was the airline pilot who found all that cocaine. That's not the same guy, is it?
No, he's dead. That guy's dead.
Oh, he's dead. Okay.
Yeah, that guy was murdered. No, this guy, he if you go, I'm not going to Google his name right now. If you Google CIA guy Gary something or another, he talks about his time in Venezuela setting up unions, but then he found out he was supposed to set them up to fail, not succeed. Nice. Yeah. And they were mad at him for doing a good job. It's like, you weren't supposed to make them good.
That's the whole point of like the Bolshevik Revolution. You weren't supposed to make them good. You're only supposed to make them good enough, and then have them hang on for dear life as they starve.
In Cuba, while I was visiting Cuba, the people don't have enough food in the city to keep themselves fed for a day or two. All right. That's one of the surefire methods of suppressing any revolution, is to make sure that your people are hungry and starved.
Mm-hmm.
So, ways to starve and fuck up a country. All you need is a couple of people in bureaucracy to fuck a few things up. Misfile something, ship something here, ship something there. Suddenly, shit gets lost in the paperwork. You know what I mean? So there's always like a bureaucratic mafia that exists. And in Cuba, it's no different than Russia. All right. The black market
Muscovites.
The black market is run by people that are related to people that are in government that run the country too. It's really weird. Yeah. So like the guy,
not that weird.
To me, it is to me. Okay. Maybe it's because they're men of industry, or maybe because they're all lodge members. Who knows? Did you know that certain synagogues and temples function essentially as Masonic lodges? Same thing with Mormon. Yeah, same thing with like Mormon churches. Yeah, it's like hookups and prestige and who gets what kind of stuff. Assholes.
Well, it's to be expected, though. I mean, like they have always had that problem with the elite bloodlines and the elite and all that because of how it's all integrated and how it's all tied to. And then they think it's just destiny for them.
Yeah. Well, every asshole at the top thinks that. So, and then when you're not at the top anymore, you wish that you were.
Yeah. Well.
All right.
Yeah.
How many, if a billionaire lost everything that he owned and all of his money, you think he would kill himself or continue to live?
Probably would kill himself.
That's an interesting thought. If I lost everything I had, I would just move out onto a beach and be a bum, read books.
You'd live a simple life.
I live a very simple life. Fucking, just as long as there was a time in nature you could go off and, be a hermit and stuff like that. I think those days are gone. Yeah, you can't really go and be a hermit nowhere no more. What's left is like fucking filled with bears.
Alaska. Siberia. Speaking of that, go back to the Ruskies.
There we go. Alaska used to belong to Russia, and the current Russian government wants Alaska back. Motherfuckers, we bought that shit from the czars. They sold it to us. Then we waited 100 years because the czar requested that no Russian citizen live when it becomes a U.S. country. So we had to wait 100 years for a bunch of people to die, all right, before we made Alaska part of the United States in 1960 something. It was purchased under Lincoln. All right.
Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln. There's a beautiful town.
I thought we bought it way more recently.
No. It was purchased during Lincoln. It was purchased by Lincoln.
1870s then?
You got a computer. I got a phone. You can go Google.
That's true.
All right. We've got a magic box that can settle all arguments and correct me if I'm wrong. And I hope that people do.
Fact check. That's such a. I hate that. Gosh, term is.
I learned this from a G.I. Joe episode.
Dumb. What?
How we got Alaska
purchased?
Yeah.
I mean, Alaska, 1867. October 18th,
there we go.
1867.
It was negotiated during Lincoln's life and completed in after his death. Who was the president that succeeded Lincoln? I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
I think it was Grant.
No, Grant was a general. He didn't come till the 1880s. Grant's famous thing was creating the Secret Service because somehow they didn't create a special branch to make sure that people didn't kill the president until like 2 presidents later.
It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Why would you want that?
Oh man. Yo, damn it. You know what just happened right now? I said trigger words.
You did.
Yeah. For podcast. Well,
what'd you say?
I mentioned why Grant created the Secret Service. Okay. And when certain keywords are said by certain people, if our conversations are scanned, we will be elevated to the next level. So I'm really curious about this. If you will get a Secret Service agent out to your house in the next couple of weeks. So
Thomas L. Harris was who he's succeeded by. I have no idea who Thomas Harris was. Oh, wait. In office. Oh, no. That's not him. My bad. Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson did not succeed.
Johnson.
Andrew Johnson.
Andrew Jackson was
Jackson
long gone. He was dead.
Yeah, he was quite dead. The world was very thankful. The death finally came around for him because he was an unstoppable killing machine that had no remorse. The man was cruel. He was evil.
He was definitely a Napoleonic figure.
I will duel you and kill you right now for saying that. I have no conscience and kill a man just for saying that.
That's kind of. I mean, that's kind of sweet. Like it's crazy, but it's awesome.
No. We're having listen. I'm a rough guy. Okay, I like fist fights. I've laid out a lot of people. I have boxed a heavyweight champion. Okay, he broke my fucking nose and gave me a concussion. Spun me around with a combo. Rabbit punched me in the back of my head 5 times. Brah! Put the mask right over my face. I'm like, that guy knows his fundamentals. That was just a beast. He had skill. Oh, I puked all over the mat. Anyway, yeah. So I like a good fight. I like a good row. All right, killing somebody for a disagreement, I prefer not to. I mean, I almost did once or twice, but I didn't because you don't do that. It's not nice. I can understand like if you challenge somebody to a duel over like child molestation. Nah, you just shoot that guy.
Yeah, I mean it's not even. That's not even. It's more so. I believe it's more so of things of the chivalrous or gentlemanly type of thing, and that I don't even. Some of that stuff doesn't even need to come down to a duel. It's got to. I think it's got to be like a little bit more serious. You can have like a paintball duel if it's like a less serious thing, and whoever gets hit loses.
This is how it starts in baby steps. We'll have paintball duels. We'll set them up. It'll be the new pickleball.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they're building. They just destroyed a whole bunch of frickin' wetlands for rare birds and like migratory birds and stuff like that to build a pickleball court.
A pickleball court?
Yeah, I live in the fucking tropics. You know how hot it gets down here? There is no good day to play tennis.
Yeah, why would you out in this? That sounds. Oh,
there, come down to the Cayman Islands, where it's 90-something fucking degrees and 80% humidity to come play pickleball. We're gonna put out this giant cement court that's gonna suck up all that heat, so that at night it'll be super hot. We destroyed this beautiful land, so rare birds. So we down here we get rare birds, very rare, like birds from like Siberia come to visit our place.
Yeah.
Going back to Russia. All right.
I know, right? Which is the point, but I mean, why not? I mean, intro.
So Russia's
intro, right?
Russia's huge on Russian Bolshevism's huge about global warming. They want Alaska back. Okay. They want Alaska back. They want to eat all of Eastern Europe wherever there's a drop of Russian blood. Okay. They want to recapture
basically all of Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
I mean that's all of it.
Yeah. And I know that they have been these plans have been in the works for 30 years. All right.
How much have they been going back and forth with Crimea? And then you had all the religious persecution go on back and forth. I mean, that's been a disaster. And recently it's been brought to light with all the Zelensky garbage.
Okay. I don't know what's up with the religious persecution stuff. All right. I don't know anything about it and nothing. Okay. I do know this. My grandmother was Russian Ukrainian. That's what she identified as. Okay. That's what her family were named Shulik. They came from Eastern Ukraine. All right. And I think their name means prince or something like that. All right. They were like minor royalty. And they left before shit got bad. They smelled, they saw it. Okay. They felt it. They're like, we're out. We know. And I read a lot of history. All right. I enjoyed Peter the Great was one of my personal heroes. All right. but I did a lot of book reports. I did a lot of research papers on him and other evil men of history. Okay, because let's go and see what makes a man successful in this world. All right, that's the will to power. None of these people are nice. They're all assholes. That's the consistent. Oh, they're also all sex maniacs too. That seems to be a big one. Genghis Khan, Mao Zedong. All right. I wonder how many women Putin is slamming.
And he's back.
Oh man, you missed that?
And I'm back. Yeah, I missed that.
Ah, dude, I was going on about like the real men of genius throughout history, how Genghis Khan and Mao Zedong and all these guys were like railing like a different girl like every day, making another kid, right? And it's like I wonder how many women a day does Putin fuck?
He likes kids, from what I heard. So I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I've seen some videos that are pretty not good.
No, you mean he likes children as fucking kids are the joy of the world. To hear their laughter is to make my soul tickled. No, it's not that kind of love of children. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's definitely not a healthy relationship. Let's just say that. And I'm
Oh, it's like Biden sniffing a kid's hair.
I'm kind of Oh.
Here. I'm back.
Oh no.
Oh yes. I'm just gonna go and hug the wall. There's only one.
He keeps going on the Wi-Fi. Why you gotta keep going on the Wi-Fi? I feel like it's like a Wi-Fi carousel. Oh, all right, there we go. And
we're back.
And I'm back.
Are we back?
And I'm back. Okay, I'm back. All right. Simon's messing with you.
Are we back?
I don't know.
Okay.
Okay.
So Putin fucks children.
All right. He goes Joe Biden on the wow.
Yeah, and then Joe Biden like sniffing little children and shit like that. What the fuck, bro? What's the matter with you people?
I don't know.
Like, I understand if it's like a baby, and you smell them, they have oxytocin that like emits from them.
Kids do. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's quite. It's definitely there. Like I can. Yeah. Oh man, that is it is a very unique pheromone that they give off.
Yes. Yeah. So that I can understand. It's like, oh my gosh, that's a baby. Can I smell it? Does it still have the new baby smell? Oh, smell the love.
New car smell. I got the new baby smell.
Oh gosh, I want that as the air freshener in my car.
Fresh. You know what? You know what's
no.
Like and we're back. And we're back. And we're back. You keep moving around too much. Talk about like this. Is this an MMA fight all of a sudden? Like you keep moving around too much.
I'm not even. We're being hacked. It's all the it's all of our FBI.
They don't care about us.
It's like there's a bunch of guys over at the NSA like watching our meeting right now.
They're literally just like these Goombas again.
These Goombas. Who's the assholes? It's like, did I tell you about Pegasus 2?
You never told me about Pegasus 1, so you might as well go
Okay.
with one. I feel like this conversation, this has been quite the intro.
Pegasus 2. Pegasus 2 is a software developed by Israel so they could surveil people. And it's like real-time recordings and all that other kind of stuff. And they sell it like a license to people. So if you have a small country and you want to spy on everybody, lease software from them so you know who's a troublemaker. Yeah, that is a thing. You see, are you there? Or did the government cut us off again?
The choosing knights. So the cryptos, the true chosen people of God, right?
Well, what is this? This Bolshevik identity of being the true Jews? What is that?
What is that? I don't know. Like, what is that? I don't even know. Like, I'm holding it right now. I don't even know what it is. Is this a new baby smell? What is that? Velvet? This is beautiful. I just fold. Did you get that reference? I just fold. That's another Schnoz reference right there. If you've seen that movie, what is that? Velvet? It's beautiful. I you know what? Sometimes too, like it's funny because whenever it's Coming to America, it's Eddie Murphy's character who plays like in the barbershop, but he plays the New York Jewish guy.
Yeah.
Doing like accent too, like obviously it goes, my mind goes right to Greek. I'm like, oh yeah, he must, they because that's also like it's a heavy Greek accent for sure. But like it's just funny because it's just like when you hear it, it's just like, hey, what is that? Like everything is just so like you feel like they're spitting at you, and they're probably not trying to, but it's funny.
I don't understand the hate of the Jewish people and stuff like that throughout history. Like when you look at them, it's like these people are funny, strange, and weird, and I enjoy their company.
They're nepotistic for sure.
Who isn't?
But they're also very racially antagonistic, and they always have been.
Some people are,
But
asshole.
it has to. But it definitely doesn't just boil down to all that simplicity. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. I mean, you get all kinds of.
When I think back to my life, I never really gotten anybody else's religions, but my best friends were Jewish. Like best friend, like a guy I'd speak to as I speak to you now. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And Eric and I had been friends since we were like 17 or 18 years old. And I like best buddy, right? And when I brought up this, Eric, I've seemed to find this thing throughout history that seems to be connected to this weird cult of Jewish people. And he lost his shit on me for even speaking about it. And we didn't speak again for another 3 months until he was on his deathbed dying. And he like literally died like the next day.
Oh.
Yeah. Like his last words to me was, "Leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep."
Did he take his own life?
Oh no, he drank himself to death over time, and his liver spontaneously failed on him. At the same time, he developed a septic ulcer that he had had for an unknown period of time. Yeah. So he would drink like a bottle of whiskey a night. It was sad. He and I were the fastest of friends, and to give you an idea of this man's genius, he got a 2-year degree in 2 semesters.
Mm.
Yeah. And yeah. And he went off to college when he was like 17 years old, but he fucked up because he had too much freedom and he didn't have any self-discipline. So hyper genius. He made like $250,000 gambling, and then the FBI, no, Florida Police Department raided a house game that he was at that had like 50,000 on the table the day before. Gambling like that much would be illegal instead of illegal, and he would usually be a card dealer at games and stuff like that. People, you listen, they could talk around him and he wouldn't say anything. Motherfucker never told me nothing. And the game got raided and everybody decided to go and point their finger at the Jew. Now he made $250,000 off of these people and grinding at like casinos and stuff like that too, becoming like a professional poker player. He even attended a couple of big events and people would trust him with their chips. I don't have anybody trust me with anything.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't trust me with the keys to somebody's car. All right. I people offer me the keys to their homes and stuff like that. It's like, hey, you want to have the codes for my business in case anything happens? No, because if anything does happen, somebody might blame me. I want you to know I'm irresponsible. Do not give this to me.
Yeah. I mean,
so like this guy, people would trust him with like their chips. He was a great guy. And he was one of my best friends. And I knew that I touched something because we both played the vampire game that was about all these occult groups.
And we're back.
Okay. Where did it cut off?
Real minute. It kind of cut off as like you're talking about how people wouldn't trust you with.
Oh. Okay. I'm finding the spot I can't go into in my room. Finding the spot.
I know, like there's got to be a sweet spot. Hold on just a minute. I got to refill. Yeah, I got to refill.
I cannot move from this one spot.
You cannot. You cannot. Just stay as still like a what do you call it? What do you call it?
With the light behind my head.
What do you call it though? Stay as still as
stiff as a board, light as a feather.
Well, that's some. Okay, intermission. Again. And we're back.
We're back. Okay, so where were we on our shit talking spree? Yeah, I'm here.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm trying to be.
I'm in the darkness.
Come out of the clip pot.
Are you there?
Come out of the Kelly pot.
I'm in. No.
Don't tell me what to do. All right.
Maybe.
Okay. I should be talking to this. All right. We got a 3, 2, 1. We're back. Do we have an ignition?
3,
out of the darkness?
2, 1. And we're back. Are we back? I'm like I feel You've been bobbing and weaving, so I got to do some bobbing and some weaving because now I can, right? It's like
an action cam in a movie.
Hey.
Shaky cam action.
except I can't get quite as shaky on the laptop. It doesn't get as dramatic as that.
You duct tape it to your chest, run around.
This is the real girl,
into the game of Doom.
It's none of that fancy stuff.
All right. So the trust.
I mean, you got. Oh, see, I did it again. I'm so mysterious. I feel that's kind of cool though. Like I'm back here, but then it's like I'm in the shadows.
Holy shit! Where did you come from?
I'm in the shadows. I was just getting another. This podcast, by the way, to all you CIA and FBI agents out there, this podcast is officially sponsored by.
Get us.
Beer.
Delicioso. The best beer ever.
It's okay.
The
hobby.
I was getting. I had a couple glasses of wine and I've been smoking a bunch of pot.
Some lines of we gotta hitch a train, man. We gotta take the train now.
So truth, all right, trust. We're discussing trust. Like, don't trust me with the keys to anything. So Russia's current Bolshevik expansion is based solely upon the excuse that there was a provocation made by NATO in incorporating Ukraine. And that when the United States went and stopped that genocide thing over in Serbia, that we were being an empire, enforcing our ways of doing things on other people. Apparently, you're supposed to look the other way when somebody's being murdered in a room.
Yeah.
So generally, when you're having an execution, there's an announcement of the person's crimes, and then an announcement of judgment after a trial. Right. And then everybody understands why we're doing what we are doing, that this must be done. Right. So that's an execution. Genocide is a murder, just wholesale. All right. There's never a legitimacy behind such a thing. All right. This is cruel and unusual. It's not even a displacement.
No,
it's not even. Yeah.
Like that's what the communists were trying to pull, though. They were trying to pull that for a long time.
Well, they were, as I'm reading in this book right now, his discussion on the formerly the you bring this up. Okay, these are the rabbi's words, not mine. This is the. I haven't even gotten to the intro yet.
I like how we just get excerpts of books too. So,
well, it doesn't take.
Man,
this guy like.
The screen. How do I add the screen? Present slides. I don't want to present. That's a terrible idea. Share screen.
Share screen. I don't know if I can. Let me see if I can find it first. I can just
hold on. This has got to be. I think I got it. Pretty sure I got it.
This is the rabbi's own words, not mine. I'm quoting him. All right, Hitler, of course, did not hide. Oh, hey, sharing your screen with me. Thank you. You know what? I think.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong screen. Hold on. That's the wrong screen.
All right. Close all your porn tabs.
That is all the tabs. Hold on. Let me remove. Dang it. I almost had it. Stop screen. Share screen. And you can this will correlate to what you've been saying though. Hold on. Let me pull it up. This is exciting and new technology. Power to the. Can I?
I don't.
On that? Can't even. Oh, there it is. All right, here we go.
What are we doing here? What is this thing?
Can you hear? Now we're just complicating things.
Timeline of the Russian Revolution, 1917. Yeah. Do you have the battleship Potemkin? Is that number 1?
Now it's just bombed the wrong side in Kosovo. Have a video of an American general from an American general's mouth. Orthodox Serbs were the victims. Kosovo is part of Serbia. That's true. That I've always agreed with that. To our listeners out there. But anyway, go.
Where was I going? Remind me again.
You were talking about
the rabbi's own words. Okay.
Yes.
Damn it. You had me wait so long. I think I closed the page. Okay.
We are all over we are just all over the map. I love it.
No, I have
There's
problems
no
focusing.
plan.
I'm too stoned to focus this much. This is just page 5. Okay, so it gets juicier. All right. We won't go. Martin Luther King, who used Jewish money to destroy Jews without their knowing what he was really up to, as detailed in chapter 22. Black Nazis from Selma to Elma. However, chapter 22. However, these things pale by comparison when one considers the socialist communist government in Israel salvaged a failing Arafat, awarded him God-given territory, and armed him with weapons that have already been used to kill innocent Jews, and got him a Nobel Peace Prize to boot. Hitler, of course, did not hide his hostility for the Jews. Stalin, however, was more circumspect. He also longed for their final solution and knew how to use Jews and Jewish money for his own purposes, as is explained in this volume. Stalin supported the extermination of the Jews by Hitler through his own Gestapo agents who defected to Russia after World War II. However, when we contemplate Professor Anthony Sutton's book, Wall Street and the Bolshevik Revolution, and Wall Street and the Rise of Hitler.
It's that Wi-Fi again. Oh, we just skipped a whole. We just skipped a bit.
What the hell's happening?
I don't know. This Wi-Fi is out of control. Connection is fairly good if you're on Wi-Fi. Is that me? Like, I've never had this happen before. My connection is good. It's like I literally have. Is it our connection just stinks? I think it is. I'm still here. Can people hear me? Can anybody hear me?
I am back. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Okay. I went in my phone settings. I went to data saver. I just turned on data saver. So all the things that are running in the background now are going to be shut down until I get back on Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that was it, man.
Yeah.
Every time you started talking, it just went bam, like it just stopped.
Yeah.
It cut you. It cut you off. My job is to cut you off. Your phone's taking my job away. So you know what?
Yeah.
You need to shut that down.
I have Discord, Telegram, Signal, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, all on this device. My Audibles, my Kindle, all right, my Odyssey thing, all right. I don't know. Oh, and my company app, and my for my taxi service, which is not operational because I still don't have my car operating. Because I'm an idiot. They changed the laws that I paid for a sign to be put on my car. And they changed the laws without, notifying the companies that print the stickers or the drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went in to get my car certified, I got essentially rejected. I have to peel off all my tents now, and I have to get $150 sticker redone on the freaking car.
What?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, and I can't work until I get this thing certified and legal.
That's something that's some like California stuff right there.
What was happening was we had a lot of people down there that, because it's a small community, would let their friends and family get away with shit. You know?
Yeah.
And small communities are representative of large communities. When you let anybody get away with shit, everybody else will say, hey, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Why am I playing by these rules? Yeah.
That's basically that's human nature. Like, hey,
I was an obtuse child, and I would not I would try and resist that. You know, it's like everybody else is colluding to do the paper. And I'm like, well, I want to do it myself, and I'll fail on my own. You know?
that's noble. That's really noble. Yeah. And that's actually, I mean, that takes courage too. Like that doesn't, yeah.
It also takes the ability to be totally alienated from all society.
Yeah. But I mean, like that's the thing though. If you don't want to fail, then what's even the point of trying? Like, you might succeed.
Do you know everything that we say in here is going to be picked over and combed over? And people are going to say, this man is this or this man is that, as they try and put a finger on me, not understanding anything really about me. You know?
By the way, your connection is much better. It's not, you're not lagging or clear. Yeah, it's much better. So you're coming through just fine now.
It was all background burst data. That's what it is. Like the keywords are always being searched and uploaded. So when you're having a conversation like this, just all upstairs. That stuff that I mentioned to you earlier, Pegasus 2, it combs through that kind of data. All right. There's software similar that's owned by Peter Thiel that does it too.
Oh well, that's a name I've heard dropped quite a few times.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely. It's funny because his last name is Thiel, and the Thule Society is definitely up there. What you were talking about, which relates to the rabbi, and you were talking about some kind of final thing happening, and then he was talking about something else.
Hitler's final solution. All right, that Stalin had Hitler's final solution. That Stalin himself had his own plans, and he had agents already working with Hitler, killing Jewish people. All right, and it's Stalin and then there's groups that were connected to Hitler himself, the CFR, Council of Foreign Relations. All right, which is coincidentally, the rabbi's very astute, are the initials of Carnegie, Ford, and Rockefeller.
Mm-hmm.
3 fucking fabulous anti-Semites that known in the past financed Hitler. It's like, what a bunch of jerks. Anyway, the CFR is members of Jewish extractions as well, who also occupy high positions, such as the notorious Henry Kissinger, who was formerly excommunicated from the Jewish nation. All right. So Henry Kissinger, I have a mixed bag of nuts about that man. I mean, he is remarkably intelligent.
Yeah,
right?
he's not stupid. Yeah. He's like one of the smartest politicians. He's definitely one of the opportunistic and probably one of the smartest manipulators for sure.
You ever hear? Yeah, I personally think he's short-sighted. When Henry Kissinger negotiated the peace deal with China to go and bring them over to our side, I knew, if I knew as a child, and I wrote papers about it while I was in high school and in college, that was like, fucking, I'm old. All right. China, the rising superpower. All right. It's like my discussion when I had at my private school about if you feed the people of the world, then they'll keep having babies, and then you'll have too many people. All right. And the response was, don't worry, the paradox of success where population levels start going down. Totally did not happen.
Yeah.
Totally did not happen.
Well, I mean, it is going to flat. They do say it's going to, the bell curve is going to flat. So Let's get into some weeds, though.
Okay.
Timeline of the Russian Revolution. I cannot read any of that. Can you read any of that?
No. All right,
Is
but
it
it
coming
should start.
in?
But Russia when Russia was having its issues, it was 1916, I believe, when the royal family was asked to step down, and there was that was the first part of the revolution. The Bolsheviks came later,
Mm-hmm.
and when the Bolsheviks came in, there was like a group called the White Army, which wanted to restore the
White Russians. Yep.
Yeah.
The White Russians were the ones who were pro-Tsardom, pro-monarchy, pro-Orthodox, and then the Red ones were the antithesis.
Yeah.
And yeah. But I did hear something interesting about the old believers.
Old believers.
Yeah, so there is an Orthodox concept, and or well, I guess the old believers, what we call the old calendarists, right? So there's the new calendar and the old calendar. We have since adopted what they call the new calendar, right? I'm not sure if it's Gregorian or Julian. No, we've adopted the Julian calendar because the Latins and the Romans and the Western side has adopted the Gregorian calendar. I'm pretty sure that's right. We have the Julian. So anyway, and now he's pumping iron because he's training for his MMA fight again. But anyway,
never know.
But anyway, because somebody might come out and
my all-American Antichrist character persona that I created. Yeah, I have to be in combat conditions. Let me know. I mean,
dude, you got to do those curls, right? 1 and 2 and 3. Okay. So I did hear from old calendarists that actually the Tsar Nicholas II was persecuting them because he adopted what the Russians have always had a problem with us Greeks. The issues with us adopting, I guess, the more Romanized or Hellenized versions of the faith. And so therefore they had that carryover. And what happened is,
sure it wasn't over your land and forced conformity.
I mean, let's be real.
So the conceptual, when you conquer other societies, conquer them. You want to convert them to your ways and thoughts and beliefs because it makes it easier to control them.
Yeah, but the Slavs adopted a Byzantine religion. So that's the other thing. It's not theirs.
People that are in a religion, all right, churches have vast amounts of wealth
and power.
And essentially, that's one mega corporation fighting with another mega corporation.
Yeah, the government. Yeah.
All right. That's what that is. And it's these private interests are like, no, you don't touch. It's a mine. I'm going to encourage my people to say, fuck you.
It's not all of a sudden you got what is that? Like is that the Pope?
Is that Greek or Italian? I don't know. They all sound alike in my head.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, a little one's more bippity boppity boo, the other one's a little bit, hey, it's kind of the same deal though.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pizzazz. There's not a whole lot of difference.
So I was So the rivalry between the religions, okay, is not so much based off of actual religious beliefs. It's based off of resource control.
Right.
Church hierarchies.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's very. I mean, just look at how the Protestants had to come over to the United States and survive. I mean, that right there, and quintessentially, and look at the Anglican Church breaking off the Catholic Church. I mean, that was all down to. To.
I'm getting 10% of these people's income, and you just took the best part for yourself.
Theology.
What do I got? I've got these poor losers down here with no skills or trades, and took all those cool Germans to make the neat shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That's true. Yeah,
you
I
want to
mean
look at it from a business perspective.
that's true. I mean that definitely split
Right.
Protestants and
Okay.
but anyway, let me read
But
the slide. Like
but
Kika says over there, you Malacca. I'm gonna start calling you Malacca too. That's not
all
a
right,
good thing.
go ahead, read the slide.
Where's the slide? I can't even read this. This thing is way too small. Who put this on the screen? Talk
What
about
kind of this is made for ants?
Yes. I was you gotta what is this? You gotta do like a Seinfeld right there. What
That's
is
not
this?
Seinfeld. That's Dennis Miller. No,
So
it's not.
anyway,
It's not. Ben, is it Ben Stiller?
it's Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller. Yeah.
Whose dad was in that show.
Yeah. Was in what?
Comedy legend Jerry Stiller was in Seinfeld. He was George's dad. Yeah, he's Costanza's dad. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Jerry Stiller? You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
He's the older man. He's obviously he was older at the time on Seinfeld. Okay. I don't know if he was in his
Ben Stiller's
it's Jerry Stiller.
Ben Stiller's hilarious. I loved it. He used to have this like he had this like indie comedy show on like Fox Network that would play at like fucking 1 a.m. It was like really, yeah, I would watch that. Right. It was like that was a good show. Like and then also Jon Stewart from The Daily Show. He had like this weird comedy talk show, kind of like a Eric Andre kind of vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That show, I've seen a few episodes. That show was bizarre, but it's funny.
The man's a genius. He's into punk rock and heavy metal. One of my friends, she does like death metal, right? Like her band, like all paint a bunch of really sexy punk rock girls painting their face white and fucking black, scary makeup on and shit. She's just playing, just screaming in the microphones. It's really hot.
Just as much noise as possible at once.
Much noise, very hot. Her first band was a group called Sewer Sluts.
Oh God.
Yeah, and they're she's the nicest girl. She dated my friend Alvar, and he's like a classical Spanish guitarist that also plays like fucking heavy metal and shit. He's in that, and they broke up because he's a dumbass, and he's in a death metal band. Warcore is what it's called. It is the brand of metal. That's one thing I like that brings people together is love of shitty music. Like all the love of shitty music. I like Russian composers and stuff like that for classical stuff. But like Little Big is one of my more favorite bands. It's a Russian. What are those called? These Gropniks. They're the guys that like dressing up in Adidas outfits and they have shitty haircuts and they always eat sunflower seeds and getting drunk.
Central European, Eastern European.
Yeah. It's Gropnik. It's a style. It's a fashion. They're like essentially juggalos.
Techno. They like techno too, from what I hear.
Yeah. And they're like juggalos. They're really cool. All right, in a lot of ways. A
lot of cigarettes too, and talk about their ethnic woes.
Woe is me, They're an interesting people. They're an interesting subculture and stuff like that could be elevated, They
have been elevated. They're a subculture. Any subculture that gets like that distinct identity and you know what it is, I feel like that's its own kind of elevation and recognition.
American trailer trash.
That's once again very
best lovers I've ever had in my life.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
He's just putting it all out there. You just flopping it on the table.
You got to do that. I mean, girls living in trailers are the best girls. I love them. They're fucking awesome. They're raunchy. They're loud. They're fantastic. They love you passionately and stuff like that. Sure, they'll cheat on you, but they'll come right back to you too. because you're the king of the trailer park.
Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, they have a very interesting patriarchal society. I like it.
Yeah.
So I dated a gypsy or two, like in one time an actual gypsy as well. Oh gosh. So she wanted to marry me. She was Eastern European. Her family were Bulgarians that had come to the United States illegally. And she's a stripper when I meet her, and she's like, I'm going to marry my big dick white boy daddy.
Wow.
Get my social security number and tattoo it on me.
My God.
And I said,
that is wow. That's something. What are we even talking about? Even oh crap! Did he do it again? Hold on. And we're back. Am I back? It's a family show, and we're back. Tom? Damn it. Okay. So I might as well just go into the timeline now of the Russian Revolution, since our we have been boomeranged, and when he's back, I'll see him. So timeline of the Russian Revolution, 1917, August. The Kornilov Push, an attempt by General Kornilov to establish a dictatorship, and it was a disaster. The leader of the Socialist Revolutionaries resigns from the government and denounces Kerensky for complicity in the plot. Let's see if he's back. Okay. September 4th, Trotsky and other Bolshevik leaders are released from prison after public pressure. September 12th, Lenin illegally publishes Lessons of Revolutions and also finishes his most important theoretical work, Proclamation of the Petrograd Revolutionary Military Committee. September, the Bolsheviks win control of the Petrograd Soviet. October, the Bolsheviks overthrow the provisional government on the night before the meeting of Second All-Russian Congress of Soviets. Let's see if he's back. And he's not back yet. October 26th, at 2 a.m, the Winter Palace was captured, which brought victory for the revolution in Petrograd. The decree on peace and the decree on land is issued, and also there is a formation of a new government. November 2nd, Bolsheviks gain Moscow. November 7th, Ukraine proclaimed independent. November 18th, Soviet government is established in Vladivostok. November 26th, beginning of their efforts to end World War I, the Soviet begins to Axis powers. December 17th, Bolsheviks win a majority of the votes of the army, which was justification for dissolving the Constituent Assembly. So there we go. We got that out of the way, finally. And it looks like it's just me. I don't know where he's at. I mean, now I feel kind of like without a co-host. And I need a co-host because who doesn't want one, right? Let me see. Let me see where he's at. And if not, I'll continue reading in some way. Wait a minute. Is he back? Devices is not connected. Now it's connected.
All right. The joke was so powerful, my phone exploded.
I mean, I got through the slides, so we're good. The slides, a quick rundown on the revolution.
Okay.
Or just so one.
All right. Well, now we've gotten past that. All right. So we got the multiple revolutions.
It's over.
So first,
We're back.
yeah, but it's multiple revolutions though.
It's two of them. So
Yeah,
technically, there were two of them that year.
yeah.
The October
So
one being Red October.
the original group, the original revolutionary group was socialists, actual socialists.
They were farmers. They were a collective of farmers.
Yeah, and the communists co-opted the identity
Yeah.
of socialism,
And
and
the farmers didn't want anything to do with that because they realized what they could do as far as improving the czardom and improving the leadership and being able to make changes within it, and then being very very complementary to what the czar what the czardom was already doing at the time. Oh man, again. He's got to stop talking to all these people. He's a popular man. So anyway, there is some more, and it's just I like how on just my face now, and then he'll come back. He'll be back. He'll be back. Let's see. He'll be back. What do I keep saying? That's not even Arnold Schwarzenegger. I don't know who that is. But anyway, the cool part is that I've had some notes printed out, and I had them saved one way or another. And obviously, you can get into all the Nicholas II stuff. But there is more. There's more to this. There's more pieces to this pie. And he's gone. And he's gone again. I don't know if he's going to come back, but he's definitely gone. So let's see. Because there's definitely some important things to say here, right? And with that, hold on. Let me see if he's back. He's not back. Why do I keep doing this? I mean, this is just going to be half a podcast of we're coming back. We're here. I feel like it's more creative though. We've definitely let loose a little bit. Definitely a little bit more on the off the cuff thing than anything else. So, World War I revolutions. Obviously, the one that sticks out, the Russian Revolution. The Russian Revolution was a series of revolutions that took place in Russia in 1917, resulting in the overthrow of the Tsarist autocracy and the establishment of the Soviet Union. The February Revolution led to the collapse of the Tsarist government, while the October Revolution saw the Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, to seize power. Okay, I mean that's an obvious one. Hold on, let's see. He's not back. Might have to just cut this one short because he was just having some issues, and we can do a part 2. So I'm gonna inadvertently call this part 1, and looks like we got to be back for part 2. See ya. Here we go again.
Hey, buddy.
Better?
I suppose.
I hear you.
I think that my phone is on a countdown to death.
No.
It's not even. It's seriously. It's like the charge is going in the opposite direction and it's plugged in.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
So,
that's.
yeah, I don't know if this will change. You know,
I've had
but
that happen to me a few times.
it's definitely all that CIA backed Israeli designed software.
It is.
Yep.
It sucks because they suck at it. So.
Oh no, they're very good at it. They're very, very, very good at it. These people make the best surgeons and scientists in the world. You know, it's like what there is an interesting discussion on does success breed success? All right,
Not
or is it
necessarily.
hard work and perseverance?
You got to have
So,
both.
got to have both. So, Russia, you know, whoever it was, the Bolsheviks, nonetheless, inherited a country that was 90% illiterate.
Which is why iconography is so sought after, is so huge, because the iconoclasm that happened, the iconoclasm that Protestants deny, that they just don't understand, and they signify it as symbolism or some kind of heresy. I know that for a fact.
Heresy.
Yeah,
I don't know what you mean.
Heresy, iconoclasm, is a Protestant heresy. Protestants don't like depictions of God. Well, Christ.
I can agree with that.
I don't, because you have to think about it. Think about the centuries that icons came out. People, like you said, were illiterate, so they needed symbols. They needed ways to.
It was advertising and marketing campaign. I understand the idea. Look at that. Look at this. They pull out the solid gold cross that's worth one gold florin would pay for my entire life, and they have this giant solid gold cross over here, the depiction of a man who died for my sins.
It's simple. It's that. I mean, it's symbolism and typology.
Yeah, it's a method of control, and
well,
I know if I had been crucified, I personally wouldn't want a picture of me being circulated around, me being mangled.
Right, but we're not. That's not the. But we don't see. That's not the point of iconography with us. That's definitely not the point of it.
I think there's a point to be made there. What would Jesus have wanted? I think there's a thing against idolatry. It's mentioned a couple times in the Bible,
which is what their big shtick is. But we don't idolize icons, so that's completely off base when they go into that tangent, and that's just not correct. But I did the slide, and I did a little blurb on the February and the October.
What about Korean Jesus?
He's there.
Okay.
It's a depiction. See, that's the thing the shitlibs don't understand.
They went all Andy Warhol with it.
They did. They definitely did.
Okay.
But his personification, they get into the weeds more about it, because they're like, oh well, he was some dark-skinned Arabic man. It's like that's not the point. Like, that's not the point of depicting him. Like, there's icons of a darker skinned Jesus. There's icons of obviously a more European looking one. There's icons of him looking Asian. There's icons of him looking Ethiopian. Like, there's all, like, throughout the history, there's all of that. But that's not the point. That's not the point. And on how today's society, I mean, they're so backwards with all that. The point is that he's symbolized in a revered and a venerated manner. That's the point. We don't dive.
I had to go to Wi-Fi.
You have to go.
Well, those are all those are all very good points.
And the thing is they with the way see the shitlib attack on the church, they have bastardized that, and it's basically cultural Bolshevism within the church. I mean, it is, or subverted Marxism. What take your pick of conservative buzzwords, but
These are all fancy words.
Yeah, they are. They're just fancy words to not get to the point of, and the point is they're ruining the tradition. I mean, that's basically in a nutshell. It's basically
What about Rasputin's tradition of he was like in a sex cult and shit like that? Is that cool?
From what I heard, he repented.
Yes.
He was definitely a better
Oh,
person.
No, he did not repent that.
Oh yeah.
No. He died fucking.
A lot of information about him is incorrect because of what they had to cover up. They had to turn him into a bad guy, and he really wasn't.
He had received a vision from the Virgin Mary, or in another version, he had received a vision from Mary Magdalene.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. And since he's in a heretical cult and he's a known weirdo, I'm going to go with that one because I believe it. All right.
I've heard it varies some very different accounts, and he
was connected to an occultist group that he was able to connect to that were Thulians. They were also connected to the Green Dragon Society, and their symbol was a green swastika.
Thulians like that symbol, don't they? They
really
like
do.
that symbol. They're obsessed with it.
And so I forget the name of this group. And this there's a slide I have somewhere of it. And this particular group was communicated to get in contact with their friends in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And they were in Sweden. To get in contact with their occult Thulian Nazi friends in Germany, all right, or proto-Nazi, and help negotiate a deal for the Russian monarchy to back out of this war, right, so that they could have peace and not, have their government collapse. They wanted out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So British intelligence, utilizing a man named Aleister Crowley, who had connections to these Thulian cultists because of his work with the Golden Dawn and the works of John Dee, was alerted to the goals of Rasputin. And Britain needed them to stay in the war because they needed to defeat and contain Germany and keep maintain their empire. Because a united Prussia, with its coal and iron reserves, was always seen as a threat to industrialization. So they helped the GRU, or Russian military intelligence, organize the assassination of Rasputin by luring him to a person's house for a threesome, or just to fuck this guy's wife while he watched. All right. And Rasputin was all about that. And came over, and they were like, before you fuck my wife, do you want to have some candy? Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you for the donuts. All right. I'm going to go finger your wife now. And it was like, oh, that's poison. And then, the whole wacky, zany assassination of Rasputin occurs. Whether it's to one extent or the other, nobody knows. All right. Is that his dick in a jar? Who knows? I don't know.
Oh, they said he had like a distended stomach, so the poison didn't get him. There's a couple of other things that he just survived because if he was just an absolute freak of nature.
Yeah, or these were exaggerations by people that didn't know how to do a lethal dose.
Could be.
Okay, it's like, do you poison people a lot?
No.
Okay. Are you an expert at this stuff?
No, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you could Google it nowadays.
Oh yeah, now you can. But
But
back then
back
you
in the
had to go
day,
with like ye old timey recipe book. All
yeah,
right.
you're like two parts of arsenic, one part of
Yeah. All right.
household
They don't.
cleaner that I don't
They,
have.
they've never tested this poison on somebody. They don't know. It's like, yeah, okay, we poisoned him. Why isn't he dead? It takes 72 hours.
Bro's just
Maybe.
not dead, all right? He's just
Yeah, bro's just not dead.
he's parts bear.
Yeah, it's
He's the
like
Russian
no,
bear.
he's probably already Walking Dead, just doesn't know it. Who knows?
Talk,
They
talk about one of the most metal characters of all time. Rasputin is up there with definitely one of the most like heavy metal
yeah
characters of all time. Like he is just he reigns metal. He is the orthodox version of a metal occultist. Or what
yeah.
what's the Warhammer? What would be the Warhammer 40K version?
Oh, he's an Inquisitor.
Okay. But a heretic inquisitor, like
He's a
the
heretic.
opposite, the
Yeah,
heretic.
yeah.
Chaos Inquisitor.
Well, no. He's not chaos. He wasn't a bad guy. Like he was trying to save his kingdom. He was sent to, by his vision. The legend goes that the Mary, we're not going to say which Mary, told him that he needed to go. He's in the middle of an orgy in Siberia,
He had a
and he has, he has one of the Marys come to him and tell him that he has to go to fucking Moscow or St. Petersburg or whatever the capital was at that time, meet the royal family and save Russia from destruction.
pretty sure it was Moscow. Pretty sure.
All right. So that's how he got there, was off of a divine vision that led him to the location. And the legend is how he met them was he ended up doing the only thing he could do to get the attention of the people that he wanted: sex shows and certain public baths that the rich people would frequent.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I did hear that one.
Yeah. And that via these sex shows, he was able to go and lure people into something that was, I would be able to just compare it in modern day culture to a yogic sex cult. These things occur. And, the power of a good orgasm.
What did they called it too, because it wasn't necessarily always people dancing, or I wasn't always necessarily through that. People had their clothes on and they danced till they were exhausted too. There was also that.
Yeah.
There was, what do they call that?
I don't know. We had shakers. That's an ecstatic. There's the spinning
Yeah.
the dancing Turk, the spinning whirling dervish.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a variation of a Tartar dance. Okay. People in Sufi Islam, there's a similar one among the whirling dervishes, where they would spin and dance and breathe to reach an ecstatic ecstasy in moments of enlightenment.
So a natural high.
Yeah, I used to do it when I was a kid a lot. So, so that's enlightenment.
It's more so just a head rush.
just massive head. What's that kid doing? Getting high, real high. So
I'm dizzy. Crack my head open.
Lost a few brain cells. Totally worth it. So Rasputin's vision led him there, and then he fucked his way to the top.
Like a good old politician.
Good old politician.
He was the Bill Clinton of his time.
Yes. So I had a variation of this. There's this girl that I met online, and I told her when I first met her, I'm like, listen, the world's about to enter into an apocalyptic cycle and chaos is about to begin to consume the world. All right. You think COVID's bad, World War III is about to begin in a few months. This is me telling her this in April of 2021. All right. So The chat records are still around. So it's like the
Pegasus
whole
2
world,
has them.
huh?
Pegasus 2 has them.
Yeah, Pegasus 2 has them. All right. It's like, oh, if you don't believe me, go and read my good prophecies. My bad ones were me getting all 8 posts on 4chan/B. I was blocked out of the system that night. I was very upset about that. They're blocking
That
my
is an
IP.
accomplishment.
Yeah.
That's an accomplishment. That's something I haven't even feated to do, but that's an
Oh,
accomplishment.
oh, I know. I almost got it. All right. Like I came up to Miami. I came up to Miami to go and help a friend of mine who was become a terrible meth addict to try and, help him get his life back together. Total waste of money. All right. Sign him off for dead. It's very sad. Very sad.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes, people get what they want. And this is apparently a lot of meth and dick in the ass or whatever. It's like, what happened to my friend?
Yikes.
He became a meth addict transgendered person.
Mm.
Oh, God.
Ugh.
His best friend is got married yesterday.
Oh, really? Uh-oh. Again?
But then again, he's an asshole and he never checks in on me, so why should I care? So his best friend, he was supposed to be the best man at my friend's wedding. And he's like, I can't even have my best friend here because he turned into a fucking troon. I was like,
Ooh.
yeah. And I'm like, yeah, he did. That's harsh. And I've got friends that are transgendered and we laugh about my buddy who turned into a troon.
Yeah.
It's like.
So speaking of which, we got crypto Judaism, which is what a lot of people in the dissident right believe what they are. Crypto Judaism refers to the practice of secretly observing Jewish traditions and customs while publicly appearing to be adherents of another religion. This often occurred during periods of persecution to forced conversion, when Jews were not allowed to openly practice their religion. Crypto Judaism can also refer to the descendants of Jews who were forced to convert to another religion, but who secretly maintained their Jewish traditions and identity over time. In some cases, these descendants may not even be aware of their Jewish heritage until later in life. Crypto Judaism has been practiced in various parts of the world, including Spain during the Inquisition, the Marranos, Portugal, and South America, among other places. In some cases, those who practice crypto Judaism did so for generations, passing down their traditions and customs through their families. Today, there are still people who practice crypto Judaism. Either because they are descendants of those who forced to convert, or because they have chosen to secretly practice Judaism due to personal beliefs or circumstances.
All right. One, if my neighbors all wanted to kill me because of what I believed, I try and keep that shit to myself as much as possible.
Yeah.
All right. But I can also totally understand, hey, go fuck yourself. All right. I mean, Jewish people were asked to lose their wealth, their financial networks, their cultural and ethnic identity, and their heritage and their history, and to have it consumed by a bunch of people who have an identity that was fabricated for them because they were slaves.
Hadrian.
Huh?
Hadrian. Well, it's because of obviously Christ being crucified, so Hadrian destroyed all the records of them.
Oh yeah, the obliviation. I totally believe the obliviation of the records of Christ was a thing. It's like, oh, we can't find any evidence of him. It's like they did practice obliviation. So sometimes the only way things survived was oral tradition.
And it did, and most of their traditions. That's how most of their traditions survived.
And people knew that obliviation was a thing. So if you say, oh yeah, this guy was so important, so powerful, he was obliviated. And obliviation is a thing. They did it to my family. All right. It's like, oh, what did your family do? Oh, my family's contribution to history. First free city that allowed for peasants to learn to read and have free association with each other. And quit their jobs and move to other places. The first free city. All right. Erased from history. And then my family comes to the New World and helps cause a revolution. You know what else they believed in? You could practice any religion you wanted. All right. It was great. You know, it was really cool. And unfortunately, with this whole you get to practice whatever religion you wanted, we ended up getting doomsday cultists.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
a lot of them. Now,
yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we know that there is a crypto Jewish group that runs things. As much as I love her and I'm a big fan of her, Greta Thunberg is a member of the Rothschild family.
Shocker.
And it didn't shock her. It's like, how does a little girl's letter writing campaign get you in front of the UN? Oh, who are mommy and daddy? Okay. Oh, they're the Rothschilds. It's wonderful. All right. And my letter writing campaign when I was a kid, dear Miss President Bush, do not allow drilling off the shores of Florida. Those places that you like to go fishing at down here, that's where all the fish spawn. And if there's a spill, we'll kill all those fish, and then you have no more fish to catch and enjoy. So, let's keep it off of our shores for a while longer. That was my belief when I was a kid. That was my letter. Greta Thunberg's letters is much better because she has a fuller understanding of the actual modern day problems. Did you know that modern day Russia under Putin is very pro global warming?
No, they're also pro COVID vaccine.
Well, I'm going to have my disagreements with you on this. All right. I know that there are going to be people that had K factor issues. All right. Especially with the AstraZeneca thing. All right. And that there are people that have experienced weird blood clots and stuff like that. But COVID in itself causes that exact issue. So there's that. Then there's the years of people eating trans fats in America, so they got butter in their fucking blood, and they have an incredibly unhealthy population. All right, and they're paying attention to stuff now, and they're like, "Hey, a bunch of us are dying, and we shouldn't be." It's like maybe because you're a bunch of fat, unhealthy pigs, But whatever. So Russia's belief in global warming is because it is beneficial to Russia. And as the permafrost, mind you, it's been there since the mammoths 20,000 years ago, has begun to thaw. There's been the explosions all throughout Siberia that are creating lakes, right? Explosions because the built up methane that has occurred beneath the permafrost is now exploding upwards.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy, huh? So we're getting these massive releases of greenhouse gases into the air. And there's also a belief in a cascading effect that might occur at the bottom of the Earth's oceans, which are covered in methane hydrate. Can you imagine hell on Earth, lakes of fire, the apocalypse? I can. My uncle experienced a thing. He's a sailor. That he was captain for Exxon or something like that. He made a lot of money as in oil. All right, and a lot of my family are maritime. And he told us once about a sea quake where the ocean was bubbling and foaming and the ship almost like fucking went down. And it was in the Bermuda Triangle area. And that area is covered in methane hydrate. When the ocean bottom changes temperature because of warming currents, that stuff will boil from the bottom of the ocean.
That's pretty deep.
Yeah, that's pretty deep. The ocean and what will happen. And the seas will have bilged forth massive contents of methane that When meeting a proper ignition source, will
Air.
burn. Oh no. I'm imagining somebody firing a flare.
Oh, well, I mean, but
The air is the fuel.
okay, yeah, because oxygen will
Yeah,
help.
yeah. So, what's a methane molecule? It's one carbon, four hydrogen, correct? So that will strip out uh, one CO2 and one O2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that will strip out two oxygen atoms in the air and contribute two water molecules and one CO2 particle for each methane molecule that escapes. How many moles, how many cubic feet of this shit are we talking about? How many cubic yards? How many cubic yards of oxygen are in the atmosphere? That's when you got to start doing calculations. You want to have the world suddenly become fucking violently toxic to mankind? The skies to turn red, the seas to boil, and to turn to flame and fire? All right.
Well, Dugan wants that, so I guess it's up his alley.
Yeah. So Russia's very pro global warming because they think it's good for Russia because it will allow for higher warm water ports for them to do more shipping.
Well, I mean, advantageous to them.
Yeah, and then we're scraping ice off of your windshields and roads not breaking in winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with Siberia being just as one of the most potent sources of oxygen in the world, that forest up there.
Not much longer it won't be. Forest fires, logging.
Yep.
All right. The world, these people are destroying this planet in their infinite wisdom. It's getting a little annoying. All right. So Russian Bolshevism wants to go and retake all of Eastern Europe and create the multipolarity conference. Did I tell you about this?
Yeah, you were going to.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things that got cut off.
All right. So this weekend there was a multipolarity conference that Dugan was hosting, and it had speakers from Brazil and Russia and China and stuff like that. And I helped Professor Dugan fix his microphone because he was getting a feedback loop because he needed to turn down the volume. It's an older gentleman, technology and stuff. And he
you literally helped Rasputin.
I helped Rasputin. So Dugan also did his thing. I complimented him in the notes. I was in the private room, and then the Chinese guy came on and started talking about Chinese shared heritage with Russia, and I'm like, yes, serfdom and barbarism and mass murder of peasantry, programs and forced sterilizations, a great shared common history. And soon we'll have social credit score systems to go and lock troublesome people away that report government corruption. So they can go to a nice little black prison. We don't have to deal with them anymore. And everybody will behave.
And you're worried about some polar bears.
And, well, it goes together. These are the people. Yeah. These are the people that think that their wisdom should be the prevailing wisdom, and that their will should be the prevailing will, and that their views should be the prevailing views. Oh Lord, they know not what they do, kind of thing. Okay. They're short-sighted. As short-sighted as Henry Kissinger empowering China. We need to make an ally out of them. It's like you do and you don't.
Mm-hmm. They have always been their own thing. I mean, you got to think about places like China and Russia. Their civilization has been so much more entrenched and so much more, as stability goes, so much more there cohesively than.
Yeah, they They went right to the Iron Age.
Yeah, we're so well disjointed.
Oh,
It's
right to steel. Sorry, they went right to steel because they knew how to smelt correctly. Yeah, they had an earthquake sensor in China that was
Mhm.
made in like the year like 1200 out of polished jade that could detect the direction of an earthquake, if not the intensity. All
Yeah.
right, and it's like somewhere send a horse in that direction. Somebody just got fucked up, you
No,
know.
because they made an oopsie.
Yeah, well, they might need assistance now.
Right.
There's been an earthquake in my domain. All right, if it's happened on my territory, I need to know so I can get help to my people in that city. I mean, that's genius to have that ability to do that because, you might not find out until they have to give you taxes.
It's not stupid. It's definitely
It's
not
not
stupid.
it's not stupid at all. So these guys were, they had gunpowder. All right. They had they almost colonized the New World. They had a fleet while Europe was still in barbarism that they sank in like 1440 or 1450. And like you could fit like the biggest these were not just like any kind of ship, mind you. You could like the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Marita would fit in the galley of these ships. Like they were nothing compared to the size of these vessels. And um, it, the Chinese had developed so much wonderful stuff, medicine and science and technology, and then their culture ossified. They
Mm.
beat the shit out of the Russians. You know, they beat the shit. They killed everybody in their path. They raped, pillaged, and murdered everything in their way. The Mongolians, and then when they consolidated their power in China, they developed this incredibly technologically advanced society. And then rather than colonizing the world, they allowed for a bunch of eunuch homosexuals to dominate their culture. Then they ossified everything. They invoked a caste system so that nobody would change their jobs ever again. Okay? This is what you do. This is all you do. And this is what your kids will do. All right? And they invoked the caste system. Confucianism became a big thing. And they got rid of pinyin. Like words used to be spelled like in the English language phonetically so that I could sound out a word and understand where it came from through the etymology of the word,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they instead switched over to calligraphy, which was specialized. So if I was a doctor, I could not have a technological cultural exchange with an engineer. So that this prevented scientific and cultural advancements of their society. All right. And essentially, the China that was in 1450 was the same China that was there in like 1750 during the Chinese Opium Wars 300 years
Stagnated
later. Yeah, stagnated. But Europe had advanced, and Europe had taken that gunpowder that China had originally
and
and
turned
turned
it
it
into guns.
into cannons and everything else and had an advanced trade network and, you know, did what China didn't do. Now, there is a discussion were there Jews in China?
There is with the opium war, with the opium dens and opium wars and the opium trade.
Silk trade.
What was
Silk
before?
trade.
Yes, the Silk
Oh,
Route,
yeah.
Silk
Oh,
Road,
yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
whatever they call it.
Okay. So there's a conceptualization that there is a secret society of guilds and merchants, guilds, okay, that go back hundreds and hundreds of years. We know that we got the guild hall that's over in London. That's still a thing. So we know that these churches are big businesses and it's territorial ownership and it's networks of people and their power structures. Um, so what if there's a guild out there that recognizes that sometimes it's like, okay, the society has reached its zenith. Now we got to slow it down, stagnate it. We're going to enter into a new period. We're going to go and now empower this other group.
Mm.
This is like what the Rothschilds did. Why should we think any different that there wasn't always them
Why?
or some group like them?
Because there's other groups like them. There's other
Exactly.
manipulators, and there's other people other than the Jews that do this.
Okay, so there's
always has been throughout history. Like that's a given.
All right. So how many different groups are there?
Is it dime a dozen at times?
A dime a dozen. Okay. Well, the dozen is I can name a dozen donuts. All right. So I would like names if they're that common. Like we know we got the Bilderberg Group, we have the Trilateral Commission, we all have a bunch of various arms merchants that are out there, bankers groups, BlackRock, the Mercers, private families. There companies that exist, and their sole job with these corporations is to obfuscate the identity of their customers online, so that nobody knows who they are or where they got their money. It's none of your fucking business.
Always.
Layers and layers of protection and security. So, the people behind the curtain. So, was the unit groups, was that their idea to stagnate their society? And could they foresee that in the future that there was going to, this was going to kill them? Or is there another group out there that wanted them to be stagnated? So, this gets into insane conspiracies. How long could this have been going on? All right, or is this the first time it's ever happened? All right, so collapse. All right, email from somebody. All right, so the Chinese government is, taken its people, who are also equally as backwards when Mao took the place over. All right, advanced their culture as equally as backwards to the Russian situation with the peasants and stuff like that. Advanced their culture, brought them up, and started. Do you know about the second revolution under Mao?
Yeah.
How the cannibalism?
Yep.
Okay. So Mao was
previous episode on that, the 10th episode.
Yeah, Mao was like evil. All right. He'd molest little girls. All right, he'd give him VD. He didn't care. He'd never wash his dick. He's a really nasty pig, right? And he'd kidnap people and brainwash them, and he'd have people killed, and he'd fucking murder his own supporters. He was a terrible monster, right? But they remember him now as the father of their nation. I wonder what we could say about George Washington. He was a cannibal.
I doubt he was one of those, since he had wooden teeth.
Yeah, that would make him more terrifying, right?
Yeah, it would make him more terrifying, but
yeah,
it's kind of hard to do when your teeth are always falling out. So
yeah,
he's a pirate.
He didn't actually fall out. They sharpened them to points so he could eat flesh more effectively.
Just like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, I never saw that movie, so I got to do that. The
yes,
fucking just not on my list. The why would it be?
Sounds like a terribly awesome movie, though.
It is. It's supposed to be really good. It's a great storyline, action sequences. He was like 6'5". Can you imagine his reach with an axe?
Oh yeah,
across the room. All right, it's like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. He walks NBA, just kills the guy halfway. It's like that's like 6-7 foot reach.
He's got that NBA range.
Yeah, you're dead. I got to get going a little bit. All right, but if we have a group that has been in the background, we know in modern history, the Illuminati movements financed the Bolshevik Revolution, financed Trotsky, financed Hitler. All right, to help encourage their people to migrate back to Israel. So they're one of the things involved with this Bolshevik identity at this moment in time is something about like the true Jew or the third Rome.
Yeah.
And this is playing into these messianic doomsday cults kind of stuff.
Which is complete Sabbatean Frankist. That's completely out of their playbook, which is weird because they almost have nothing to do with Judaism, which is another oddity.
So I don't know if the Chinese Communist Party is even aware of this stuff. You know, I don't know if this is even studied by their guys, if they know that their motivations or the arcane esoteric nature.
That's not their motivation. I don't get that motivational vibe from them at all. They're more so. It seems like to me they're more straight lined and hard lined with that kind of discipline. This is what it is. This is the cause, the effect, and this is the outcome. That to me is what they're more about.
You don't think that they're all right? They're concerned about power.
Yes.
They don't understand the greater. They don't. They don't understand the religious aspect.
They don't care. Yeah, they just don't care. Because it's just not who they are. In a sense, they do things for destiny and for country and for nationalism, for sure. They have that. I guess you could call it that ethnic pride, that racial pride there. But that's like I think that's almost to where it like stops. You know, there's no extra fluff with that. Like sure there's senses of it, and sure there's that sense of pride with it, and
they're hugely nationalistic. Yeah, the Chinese are hugely nationalistic. They have it written into their laws that they can take if you're in business with a not a Chinese person, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
All right. Straight up. And they regard anybody. I almost married a Chinese girl just because of that. I was like, oh man. What I need to do is I need to marry a Jewish Chinese girl for the trifecta.
Wow. That's a trifecta.
There we go. What do you got? A Jewish. I know one actually. Just ain't worth it. She's such a bitch. He was like, me and David, we're going to go out and hang out with my friends. And it's like, oh, what are you guys going to do? Hang out with those fucking assholes? I used to go and like rent rooms at an adult hotel and like have like parties with like a bunch of really sleazy girls. And then one day I go to my hotel, right? You know, the comic book convention's like next door, and I got a bunch of girls with cosplay and stuff like that. And we're going to go and have a naughty adult party. I can't go in there because some guy jacked up on meth and MDMA went and his girlfriend died after them doing drugs for 2 weeks. And he decided to massage her heart with his hand. Stuck his hand up inside of her chest, squeezed it to jelly.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd rather not hang out with those people.
That's a bit over the top. I don't know if your cosplay allows you to resurrect.
That was
turn into a necromancer.
So. No, that was not cosplay. I couldn't rent the room because that guy had that horror show happen at that hotel, jacked up on drugs. So these were the kind of people that Jewish Chinese girl would hang out with.
Yeah.
It's like I like the club art party scene. And this girl is rich, stupid rich, worth at least $12 million, at least. All right. But I'm like, I have to think to myself, she's never worked a day in her life. She's never had to work a day in her life. All she does is party, and she doesn't have any kids. She has a little dog. And I'm like, could I deal with this for all the luxury and all the sex? No, it's too much of a bitch.
Damn.
You go. She wasn't like cool or anything like that. She was just mean.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well,
really
no,
bad.
she was She was like, "Do you know where we can go and get some cocaine?" I was like, "Really? You got to my island and you're hanging out with me and you want to immediately do drugs?" Talk about sabotage and influence.
Yeah. So let's see. I did.
So do these people deserve millions of dollars?
So speaking of which is a good segue. Marx's anti-Semitism. There's a debate among scholars and historians about whether or not Karl Marx was anti-Semitic. While Marx did make some derogatory comments about Jewish people in his writings, it is also true that he had Jewish ancestry and had close relationships with Jewish people throughout his life. Some of Marx's early writings contain derogatory statements about Jewish people, including stereotypes about their physical appearance and character. However, as he matured as a writer and thinker, his views on Jewish people became more complex and nuanced. In some of his later writings, Marx criticized oppression of Jewish people and called for their emancipation. For example, in his essay on the Jewish question, Marx argued that Jewish people could only be fully emancipated in a society that had abolished all forms of oppression. While Marx's writings do contain some anti-Semitic statements, it is important to view them in their historical and social context. Anti-Semitic stereotypes and attitudes were prevalent in the 19th century Europe, and Marx's writings were not unique in this regard. Moreover, it is important to recognize that Marx's critique of capitalism and his call for social justice have inspired many Jewish activists and thinkers over the years, including many who have fought against anti-Semitism and other forms of oppression. So, in a nutshell, I mean that's Mao. I mean that's Mao. See, and there's the extreme, right? And then you got Jewish communism.
They saw oppression everywhere.
Yeah, well, yeah,
right?
that's
They'd
just,
walk up and they're like, "Yo, kill your landlord." And it's like, "Well, we like our landlord." And it's like, "No, you got to kill him."
Yeah, he fixes
You know,
things.
it's like,
He seems like a cool
or
guy.
kill you. Oh, sorry, Bill. It's okay, Ned.
Yeah, like the guy just wants to make some money while you make some money, and just chill. Like he can't. Well, I mean, it's also turned into corporations like BlackRock. So then you have those issues with it too. So it's turned into an overbearing form of.
Are you going to use computers to figure out how you can juice money out of us?
Well, but that's
look,
that's what I mean. Like that's
look how we can force people to learn how to do side jobs to go and generate extra cash. Oh, look, the government's upset about that now. They're going to come in and tax you.
Well, of course.
We're going to raise your rent, by the way. I know an army of women who make their living as cam girls, going from hotel room to hotel room. And and I thought it was just like, poor skillless white girls, stripping and stuff like that from a hotel room. No, it's beyond that. Then there's like so many poor people in the United States living in hotels.
Yeah.
All right. Living in these pay by the night, and which is expensive. It's much more expensive than having a house.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't afford a house because they have bad credit and they can't get a down payment together. So they're forced to struggle to barely survive renting in these hotels.
Insane.
Huh?
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah. And it's like, yeah. And how does that make any sense socially? Mm-hmm. And then at the same time, there's hedge funds like BlackRock, all right, that go up into a city and buy up all the real estate that they can, and then ration the market and manipulate the prices, making it too expensive for the people locally to live. And now we also have Airbnb having price competition in metropolitan areas for people to have homes. But where the labor is supposed to live.
That's all market. That's all market capitalism, but that's all, Oh, here we go. So, because here's Jewish capitalism. The idea of Jewish capitalism refers to the idea to the historical and cultural intersection between Judaism and capitalism. Some have suggested that Jewish people have been particularly successful in capitalist societies, and that this success is due to cultural and religious factors. One theory is that the Jewish emphasis on education and importance of hard work has helped them succeed in capitalist societies. Well, that's stupid because that's like a general That's like a general thing right there. That's a stupid thing to say.
Oh yeah, dude.
Another theory is that the Jewish emphasis on business and commerce, which can be traced back to the medieval period when Jews were often excluded from other professions, has also contributed to their success in capitalist economies. However, it is important to note that the idea of Jewish capitalism has been used to promote anti-Semitic stereotypes about Jewish people, including the notion that they are greedy or manipulative. This is both inaccurate and harmful, as it perpetuates negative stereotypes and ignores the diversity of experience and backgrounds within the Jewish community. Who was this written by? Moreover, the success of Jewish people in capitalist societies is not unique to them, as members of many other cultural and ethnic groups have also found success in such societies. I mean, that's true. It is important to recognize that individual success is influenced by a range of factors, including education, family background, and access to resources, and cannot be reduced to simplistic cultural or religious factors. I mean, that's true, and that's what happens with the communist trope, the Jewish communist trope. Like people go into that default mode where it must be just them, and that's a shoe-in. That's just mailing it in. That's lazy.
The people that I've known, all right, we're not lazy. We're not anything. Okay, I anecdotally have met some bad human beings, you know.
But the other part,
they're musical people, talented people, hardworking people, you know. And sometimes when I take a look around the world and I take a look at other people, all right, I can totally see why somebody could say we're better than the rest.
But the other part,
I can see where they get that.
Yeah,
and then also I can also see at the same time where other people might look at them and say, you know, fuck these guys. They just don't have an appreciation of my humor or my music.
That's very subjective. It's very
well, exactly. You know, some people think Sacha Baron Cohen is hilarious, and then the people that he interviewed, they just don't get the joke.
Right. But that's just it. Some people think Dave Chappelle is hilarious, but some people just don't get the joke. So I mean, it's just a matter of context. It's a matter of taste, I guess. It's a matter of like how funny are you? Are you just being funny for the sake of being funny? Or are you actually is the message being heard or received?
I thought he was hilarious.
Which one?
I thought he was a bitch for quitting comedy when he did.
Oh, Dave.
But I understand.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even go to Disney World with my kids without somebody running up and hitting me saying I'm Rick James, bitch.
What? I mean, he delivered the message. That's for sure. But so the Slavic persecutions, also known as the Slavic Holocaust or Slavic genocide, were a series of campaigns of violence and oppression against Slavic people that took place in Europe from the 12th to the 20th centuries. The earliest instances of Slavic persecution were carried out by Germanic tribes during the migration period, when Slavic people were often enslaved or forced to pay tribute to their conquerors. Yeah, there's a lot of Orthodox history with that. Or forced. The hell was that? Or forced to pay tribute to the. I said that. In later centuries, Slavic people were targeted by various powers, including the Ottoman Empire, the Habsburg monarchy, and the Russian Empire. One of the most significant episodes of persecution occurred during World War II, when Nazi Germany and its allies carried out a systemic campaign of extermination against Slavic people, particularly those of Polish and Soviet descent. Millions of Slavic people, including Jews, Poles, and Russians, were killed in concentration camp ghettos and mass executions. After the war, many Slavic countries fell under Soviet control, and the Soviet government carried out a policy of forced assimilation and cultural suppression against Slavic people in an effort to promote a uniform Soviet identity. This policy included banning of traditional Slavic languages and customs, the destruction of historic monuments and cultural artifacts. Today, many Slavic countries continue to struggle with the legacy of these persecutions and efforts are underway to preserve and promote Slavic cultures and languages. Slavic people also continue to face discrimination and oppression in some parts of Europe, particularly in regions where nationalism and xenophobia are on the rise. I mean, that's pretty significant as you compare it to the Jews, and like who's to say, what makes the Slavs different from that whole narrative? Like what makes them different? They're the ones who took the brunt of all of that. And what makes a Slavic Jew different from a Slavic Gentile? Like there's not much besides maybe their heritage or what they were like.
I'm American. I don't give a shit.
Right, but that's what I mean.
I'm a great melting pot kind of believer. You know that cultural identities need to be eroded away as they're like hindrances towards cooperation.
Yes and no. I think cultural
All right, I don't mind. I don't. Yeah, cherish your heritage and stuff like that. But the idea isn't to put your town first. The idea is to put humanity first. Or in the case of a church, you would say put God first. So if we had to put it in order, put God first, put humanity second, put your hometown third. Okay? All right. Maybe fourth. And you were definitely not even in the top 7.
The hometown?
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
okay.
The sports,
your
the whole
nation.
sports team phenomenon.
Yeah. The goal is all of us have to survive, or as many of us as possible, right? And the erosion of cultural identities by the Soviets was necessary, as regionally, the people of the steppes all hated each other.
Well, and you look at the erosion of cultural identity across the board with that, with fascism, the rise of Mussolini. He wanted to erode the Italian culture completely. You had the golden, like you said, well, there is another Golden Dawn, but the Golden Dawn, the Greek version, they wanted to erode. I believe it was, Metaxas wanted to erode the whole Hellenic identity. Which is very obviously very culturally important to not only Greek identity, but to Europe, and establishing, a cohesive European identity in a lot of forms. Because if you think about it,
well, the rest of them disagree with you. That's why they're not Hellenic,
right? But the issue with that is that what, like,
you filthy idolater.
But what's really interesting about that is that if you look at the Hellenics and the way they adopted Christianity versus the way that the Jews
here, let's put it to you like this: in the several thousand years, the Jews not being the neighbor that anybody wanted, all right, they're still around.
Kind of.
They kept their faith. They kept their traditions for the most part. Sometimes they got a little AC/DC on it. All right.
Loosey-goosey.
A little loosey-goosey. All right. But nonetheless, they're still there. Still have their traditions. They still have their history. However dubious it might be on its authenticity.
Well, but it's not.
So
it's not
we have to say that despite all of that pressure, all right, that there's 30 million Jews that currently exist, maybe 60, kept their faith. I'm sure that the good people that practice the Hellenistic, whatever it is, they truly have it in their hearts and in their fucking veins, then they'd still be around.
Well, but it adapted. It adapted to the truth. It didn't adapt to rejection of the truth. And that is
It
where
adopted.
It
All right.
adapted.
It adapted. So, what about all these other Slavic identities? Did they adapt?
They did.
There
Orthodoxy
we
adapted.
go.
Yeah, they
So I
did.
guess, their cultural identity really wasn't that important to begin with.
You're right. I mean, and see, that's the thing, though, because if the cultural identity can see, and that's the thing, what it makes so
You
unique,
know what the Jews did? They went back to being Jewish.
right?
Did
But
your people?
that's still not
No.
correct. No, because that's not correct. Because they
All right.
rejected Christ. That's incorrect.
Is there a difference? Is there a difference between the Russian Orthodox Church, the Greek Orthodox Church, and the
There is.
Orthodox Church over in Ethiopia?
There is and there isn't.
There is and there isn't. All right. So if you all got together and threw a party, you'd all have the same prayers and rituals?
I mean, yeah, for the most part, there's nothing that's really too different.
So what's the difference?
I mean, partly the Oriental Orthodox, the Ethiopians don't believe all the same things we do, so they're technically heretics.
Everybody's a heretic, bro.
But I mean, that's easy to do, right? That's easy to slap that label everywhere and just say it.
I'm a heretic. You're a heretic. Everybody is somebody else's heretic.
I mean, I know.
Done.
Yeah, I know.
Moved.
That's true.
Okay. You're going to hell. Why?
Because you're a heretic.
Give me the heretic.
You just slap it. Just slap the label everywhere. Slaps the roof. Heretic.
Runs out on stage. Chaos! So, Warhammer 4. So, speaking of Warhammer 40K and Russian Orthodox, you notice the Emperor is St. George?
The Emperor, the God Emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor is St. George.
He's got a very St. George story arc.
He beat up a dragon.
The Dragon of Chaos.
He beat up a dragon that was a Necron dragon, actually, in Warhammer.
Yep.
And he took it. And what else? He's appeared as Jesus and Buddha. And what he would do is he would reincarnate through all these cycles. And the Gnostic conceptualizations, the higher spiritual conceptualizations of like Kabbalistic stuff like the Tree of Life and the Qliphoth are involved in this. I'm sorry, my train of thought got derailed. Who was it we were just talking about again? Which comic book character?
The God Emperor of Man.
The God Emperor of Man, yeah. So, like...
Donald J. Trump. I had to do it. I had to.
Not even close.
I know, but it's a great meme. It's a fantastic meme.
It really, really, really was. It's enough to make me Abaddon. It's
not
like
Bahamut,
what?
Not Bahamut, just Abaddon.
Yeah, I'll go Abaddon. Fine, we'll do that one. Why not?
But is Abaddon the dragon, or is he the defiler?
I don't even know.
I forgot which. Bahamut is just a straight up badass. That's just like a bold demon.
It's not a demon.
It's not a demon?
It's no. It's like one of God. Bahamut is it's Leviathan, but not Leviathan, and it's Brahma, but not the Brahma. It was the origination of the conceptualizations of a sea dragon.
Okay.
That at the end of times, its body would feed the world.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that jogged my
It's
memory.
It's not a bad thing.
Huh. That definitely jogged my memory. I forgot about
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that's There are a couple of different versions of these stories and stuff like that. They evolve over time. Different comic book artists, you know, different vibe, different storylines. That's all it is.
But as we were saying, like with the God Emperor Man, that's like what a lot of people thought the Nazis were against the Bolsheviks. When in turn, you were going into come on, go into it.
But that they're both essentially puppets of the same groups.
But what groups?
Oh,
You're getting into the weeds.
well, it was the Sabbateans, it's Frankist groups. Like, you're going to set up these two egos right next to each other, and one doesn't view the other as human. You're going to watch them tear into each other. They're going to go, and they did, right? They knew what was going to happen.
They always tore into each other.
Yeah,
History.
and they're guaranteed to make their money. They knew Spain. They saw Spain. They saw the fascists fighting the communists. They financed both sides of the war. All right, they knew what they were doing.
But who did? Like who funded him?
Well, this is the Rothschild groups.
But the Rothschilds are also backed and funded by the Vatican. And then you have more tied into the Vatican.
Yep. Well, the Vatican Bank was hosting a lot of money laundering and shit like that. And the story goes is that the Vatican gave its money due to the Jesuits' influence to the Rothschilds to do the thing that they've done. It's like, yeah, you're rich now, but with our money, you're really rich. And the Jews, if you know, the world's first accountant was a Jew working for Pharaoh.
Is that why he could tell no lies as an accountant because his nose would grow?
That's fucking anti-Semitic and very funny. So jeez.
See, that made you think about it, though.
All right. There was also a Jewish aristocracy in Russia. They were minor nobility because if you were a teacher or an educator, like Lenin's family was, you would be considered minor royalty. But you had to be a conversio. You had to pretend you weren't Jewish because the Tsar was very anti-Jewish, and he didn't want any Jews in his government because he thought that they would betray him to Israel because they have an allegiance to their people and their nation first over his nation. So instead of enlisting the person that would wear a hat and stuff like that because he thought they'd betray him, usually those guys don't want to serve, by the way. They would take people that, would conform, which also happened to be the people
that killed him.
Because those were the ones that he was afraid of.
Turns out he
didn't realize.
Yeah.
If he hadn't have been an asshole, if he had not have been an asshole, maybe he would have survived.
Well, but people say that he wasn't. So it's a mixed bag. It's always a mixed bag with Tsardom and Savophilia.
Well, his father had attempted to do social reforms, but stopped after somebody attempted to assassinate him. And when he became Tsar, he decided that he didn't want to do social reforms either, so fuck it.
turned into a bureaucratic autocracy because he wasn't running the government. It was a few higher ups plus the patriarch, plus the hierarchs of the Orthodox Church were advising him, and they were making a lot of the decisions for him.
There we go. Leave it to the smart people. We know what we're doing here. We're all getting rich.
As they were suffering famine.
What's the worst that could happen?
They were suffering famine.
While they were eating luxurious food like these grapes flown in from another country, it cost me $5 a pound.
People were starving.
People are starving. All right. Now, I look at this, and I'm like, this is delicious. I want this. $5. Other countries, they don't make that a day.
Yeah.
Right. So, while the Russian peasantry were starving and a war is raging, there are a bunch of rich assholes in Moscow eating grapes, saying the people are okay. They've never had it so good.
Mm-hmm.
They're just complaining. So the socialists were getting ready for their revolution. And they knew everything was shitty because they're not eating grapes. The socialists want to go and change things. So they're getting ready for the revolution. And they thought it would happen later in October, maybe early November. They were 10 days off of their prediction. And when the battleship Potemkin occurred, they weren't ready. Battleship Potemkin was a warship for the Russian military, the Navy. And they had run out of food, and they were eating like rotten, moldy potatoes with worms. Okay? You getting me?
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing to eat. They're starving. And they riot. There's a mutiny. They go and they kick down the offices. They rob. They shoot. They kill. The revolution goes live. So the socialists come to power, and they keep into the war. All right, they keep Russia in the war against Germany, but the people are not happy. And a banking cartel training Trotsky and his Bolsheviks over in, I believe it was in the state of Maine. Yeah, in America, training them, Trotsky, with Bolsheviks, the communist kind. They're being trained to do paramilitary stuff in the USA. Was then given like $18 million in gold and sent across the ocean to go and hook up with another guy who had named Lenin, who also had like another $18 million in gold, and like a city called Vienna. And then they took a train to Russia, armed with their Bolsheviks.
Mm-hmm.
So an outside force recognizing Russia was about to collapse, bought a franchise operation of terrorists and sent them in to go and implement the economic theory of one of their cousins.
Lenin.
Marx.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. Although Lenin may have also been related to them. I'm not certain to that.
But he also had his own economic theories. Lenin had his own economic theories.
Money is not real.
Yeah, that was one of them. He improvised. He improvised a lot.
I can appreciate that guy.
Yeah, I mean, but that's
money is not
competition. I mean, talk and in a way, it is a caste system, but it's a caste system for not creating class. So it's basically the inversion of a caste system.
Russia graduated geniuses. They took an lettered peasant population and turned them into a bunch of people making nuclear bombs in 30 years. All right. Sure, they're hiring Western, but this is an interesting thing about this. Some of their stuff that was developed, they gave them the necessary capital and resources, was developed by Western corporations. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the Koch brothers, their dad made his money, that made them their money vis-a-vis, developing the oil fields in Soviet Russia.
I did not know that one.
Yeah. All right. Ford was making vehicles in Soviet Russia during Vietnam, and the engines from a Ford-owned and operated factory were in the vehicles of the Vietnamese communists that we were fighting.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
This is big business. Not big, like, what big business did when they cooperated with the communists was fuck the laborers. Okay, the union is the government. All right, and the laborers are just being fucked by their union bosses. So when you're a foreign corporation, you're paying the Russian. You would get a contract to do something in Russia. You'd be paying the Russian government for the laborers, and then they would pay the laborers. So the person that negotiates the price for your labor is them, and they get a good chunk of that. You do not. You know how you pay the government 10 cents on the dollar, 30 cents on the dollar, whatever you fucking people pay over there? It's like reversed. You get the sales tax.
And the kicker is a lot of but this is pre and post World War I. The German monarchy was paying or funding the Russian revolutions and the Russian communist parties. So they were actually giving them money to fund them because they wanted to keep the Slavs at bay in a way.
Well, you want to have a country succeed. You don't want it to. You don't want to have your neighboring country collapse. That causes like waves of peasants, famine, and population migrations. I mean, look at Venezuela, right? People don't want it. People want it to collapse, but people don't really want it to collapse,
Right.
because, fuck, 30 million people will start marching where there's food.
Yeah. Mexico. But no.
Those people have been, their country has been robbed, raped, and exploited too. They have oil reserves greater than like Saudi Arabia. And they're a massive exporter of oil and gas, but they're poor. They have industrialization, all right, but they're poor because they don't get a percentage of their profits. So, like, even right now, like, Mexico's dealing with the idea of products coming in from Chinese slave labor that are making knockoffs of Mexican locally made products.
It's the exploitation.
Yeah. And it's like, fuck, what's going to happen? It's like Mexico's losing its capital, all right, in so many different ways. It's sad. And then the super rich at the very top well up all of that wealth. And then there are cartels and drug operations over there that steal the land of the farmers. It's awful. I wouldn't want to. I do, however, want to be in Cancun.
Cancun?
Yes. It's fucking party city.
Well, I mean, naturally. Like, obviously. That doesn't seem too bad. That doesn't seem like you're exploiting anything. So why not, right? You don't feel
Do
bad
it.
about that.
Anyway, I think I'm going to get going. I'm trying to me and this girl are going to try and watch What We Do in the Shadows online. And so I have to find an operational pirate site.
Yes, you do.
And that's a pain in the ass. All the good ones are always being taken down now. Do you want to pay money? No, I don't want to pay money. That's why I'm looking for a pirate site.
Of course.
Fuck, can't a person steal shit anymore?
I mean, nice to get that recorded on video. So I'm glad you had that admitted.
You wouldn't download a car, would you? Fuck yeah, I would.
Download a car? I mean, that'd be kind of cool
Yeah.
if you could.
Yeah, exactly.
Rent a
Right?
car. I mean, that'd be sick. That'd be absolutely sweet. But
It's like
kinda-
I need a new van. What We Do in the Shadows. Like, I have not had any work in like 5 months.
that's nice.
My vehicle, yeah, it's been horrible. My car is broke. I got to buy a new one. The one I buy has problems with the air conditioning. It's just like a series of bad events. And this girl that since the interview's over, oh no, it's not. We're still on.
Here, hold on a minute. And we're done.
All right, we're not even. It's just ramblings at this